Hey everybody, welcome to the Two Guys in a Cooler channel. My name is Eric and I hope you're ready for some sausages. We're going to make a roasted garlic smoked sausage today. And let me tell you something, this sausage came out amazing. So I'm going to take you through each one of the steps. We're going to take it nice and easy. And as always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. What we got in front of us is a pork shoulder. This is known as the Boston butt. It's got a nice lean to fat ratio, perfect for making sausages. If you can't get a pork shoulder and you need to use something like a ham, just add 30% fat and you're in business. So I've got my pork cut into strips. It's been chilled, and we're going to go ahead and run that through our grinder on a 6mm plate. And just a side note, when it comes to grinding your meat, it all comes down to personal preference. So if you like a smooth sausage, grind on 6mm or 4.5mm. If you want a coarse sausage, then grind on a 10mm or even 12mm plate. So it's totally up to you. Our meat is below 35 degrees Fahrenheit, incredibly important when making sausage. And once you're done grinding your meat, pop that back in the freezer while we prepare our garlic. To roast this, I'm just going to cut the top off of the garlic bulbs, put a little bit of olive oil on top of each one, and in a 400-degree oven, we're going to roast that for 30 to 40 minutes. Just be careful not to burn it. This is what it's going to look like once it comes out of the oven. Our garlic is nice and soft. We've removed it from the bulb, and we're now going to go ahead and mix all of our ingredients together. So off camera, we've prepared our seasonings, and the seasoning profile for this is pretty simple. We're just going to use salt, pepper, some cure number 1, because we're going to be smoking this at very low temperatures, a little ginger, a little mustard seed, obviously the roasted garlic, and we're adding some non-fat powdered milk. That non-fat powdered milk is added for a couple reasons. Number 1, it's going to help us get a better bind on our sausage, but it also has great water holding capacity, so it's going to give us a nice and juicy sausage. Totally optional ingredient. We're also going to add some ice water, and then of course our roasted garlic. We're going to pop that in there right there, and we're just going to mix this in our stand mixer with the paddle attachment until our mince becomes nice and sticky. I wish I could tell you there's a specific amount of time to mix it for, but truth is, each batch is going to be different depending on how it was ground, so on and so forth. So just keep an eye on it. You don't want to overmix your mincemeat at this stage. And once you grab a small little handful and turn your hand upside down, it should stick to your hand. And once you do this a couple times, you'll get the hang of what that's supposed to feel like. But that's what it's supposed to look like. Now we're going to go ahead and pop this into our sausage stuffer and stuff this into some 38mm casings, natural hog casings that we got from the sausage maker. Notice I wet my horn with a little bit of water. I'm going to tie it off at the end, and I'm going to prick that very end right there. Otherwise, it'll just blow up like a balloon. So we're just going to prick the casing with a sausage pricker, and that'll allow the air to escape as the piston is lowered in our sausage stuffer. So we're going to be using a number 22 electric sausage stuffer from the sausage maker. Great sausage stuffer, especially if you do large batches. And I do want to point out the method in which I'm stuffing this casing. And so we're taking it nice and easy with my right hand. I'm using my thumb and my index finger to just slowly put pressure on that casing, which is allowing it to fill up. And then with my left hand, I'm guiding it. What we're looking for is just enough pressure to where when I twist my links, they don't bust. This particular step takes a little bit of practice, but once you do it a couple times, you'll get the feel for it. At this point, we're just going to link our sausage. We're going to prick it with a sausage pricker, get rid of any air pockets, put it on a drying rack, and set it in the fridge. We want this sausage to hang out in the fridge overnight. That's going to allow the cure to do its job, and it's going to help dry the sausage out a minute. It is now the next morning, and it's time to smoke our sausage. Our cure has had a chance to do its job. Our sausage meat is a little pinker and a little drier. So we're going to go ahead and place this in the smoker. Now, our sausage just came out of the fridge, so it's cold. And if you try to cook it now, condensation is going to form, and it's just not going to cook properly. The smoke's not going to adhere. So we want to dry this sausage out and bring the temperature up a little bit before we start smoking. So leave the lid or the door on your smoker open just a little bit and bring the temperature up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour and a half. That's going to raise the temperature of your sausage. It's also going to help dry it out even further, which is going to give you a nice bind on your casing to your meat. And after an hour and a half, close the door, add smoke, and increase the temperature to 125, cook for 1 hour. At this point, you're just going to incrementally increase the temperature 135 for 1 hour, 155 for an hour and a half, and then you're going to increase it to 175 until the internal temperature reaches 145 F. Okay, let me show you what all that looks like in practice. Our sausages have just finished drying, 100 degrees for an hour and a half. We're now going to begin to add smoke. So we're using a smoke generator from Smoking It, and I think we're using a combination of pecan and apple wood for the smoke. At this point, we're going to raise the temperature of our smoker, right? And we're going to close the door, and we're going to allow it to start that cooking cycle. Smoking your sausage this way, really nice, low and slow, takes a little bit longer than usual, but you're going to produce a sausage with a great snap and a very, very juicy and tender bite. And I think that's really what we're after. So our sausages have just hit 145 Fahrenheit. We're going to pull them out of the smoker and cool them down immediately. We want to drop the temperature. We don't want them to keep cooking. And we don't want our sausages to shrivel up, which can happen if they're not cooled down fast enough. So I'm going to spray them with some cold running water. You can dip your sausages in ice water, whichever you choose to do. Just make sure your sausages are cooled way down so that you can get them ready for blooming. Now, what is blooming? Well, when it comes to smoked sausages, blooming is a drying and an aging step that helps enhance the color. It's totally optional, but if you want to bloom your sausage, hang them or place them on a drying rack at room temperature for anywhere between 1 to 5 hours. Just make sure that you can get airflow underneath and on top and on all sides of your sausage. And while your sausage is at room temperature, drying and aging, you're going to notice that the color is going to start to even out. It's going to start to get that nice, rich mahogany color. And it does nothing for the flavor, so just FYI, this is all about color. One last little thing I like to do, which will actually enhance the flavor a little bit, after my sausages have finished blooming, I'm going to place them in the refrigerator overnight. Now, this is totally optional. This just develops the flavor a little further, and this is what our sausages now look like. They've bloomed, they've rested in the fridge overnight. So let's go ahead and take a peek inside and see what this looks like. And at first glance, I love the way this looks. We've got a nice smooth slice, no mechanical openings. Color looks incredible, and the marbling, the protein to fat distribution looks amazing. So we're just going to slice a little piece off of this cold roasted garlic smoked sausage and give it a little taste and see what that's like. Here we go. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Great texture, beautiful smoky flavor. That roasted garlic is coming through. Really nice, like really nice. All right, let's go ahead and pop this on the griddle, because eating a sausage like this cold and eating it hot, two completely different experiences, and each one has their right place. So let's go ahead and heat this up and see what it's all about. One thing I want to add is that your sausage was already cooked. So when you heat it up on the griddle or on the pit or in the oven or whatever, you're just heating it up to 140, 145 F. You don't want to overcook it. You don't want to overheat it. Otherwise, it'll dry out. This is what our centerpiece looks like, nice and hot. And I got to tell you, it cooked beautifully. None of the fat rendered out on the griddle, which means it should all be in this bite. Let's squeeze it, see what happens. That's the stuff right there. So that right there is going to give us that really nice, juicy bite. The casing dried and adhered to the meat perfectly, which is going to give us that coveted sausage snap. And overall, the sausage is incredible, especially if you like roasted garlic. This was a great sausage eaten cold with mustard on a charcuterie board, in a sandwich, on a salad. I personally liked it cooked because I felt like it drew the flavor of that roasted garlic out. And that fat just turned into butter, like melt in your mouth. Absolutely incredible. And I hope you get a chance to make this roasted garlic smoked sausage. Any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And if you found this video to be helpful or entertaining in any way, a thumbs up would be nice. For those of you who are new to the channel, we want to say welcome. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. We post new videos each week. We'll see you in the next one.